गिफ्टेड मुलांना किंवा प्रज्ञावंत मुलांना विशेष गरजा असतात का? आणि त्या असल्या तर कोणत्या? आणि त्यांना ॲड्रेस कसं करायचं? ह्याबद्दल आज आपण चॉक अँड टॉकवर गप्पा मारणार आहोत.
See, a gifted child is basically a child who has got a certain ability. And this ability, the child is born with. So the difference is there is something called natural ability. Okay? And then there is an environment which is around that child. And then there is competency, and then there is talent. What you're saying, Neha, is very true, that each child, as we also say it in Kaveri, is unique. Each child is special. So, but the gifted program, when they get included in the gifted, it's through an identification process, as you rightly asked right now. Okay? So we have a parent orientation. We inform the parents that your child will be missing a set of periods, and it's the responsibility of the child to cover up whatever he or she loses in terms of not attending those periods. So that kind of information is given to the parents. The parents are also informed what the child will be experiencing, what expectations we have, and what the child is committing to. Because we have it once a week, 1 hour. It's a pull-out enrichment plan for this small group of students.
Pull out meaning you're pulling the children out of the class.
Yeah. Of course, that's a skill. But if you want to pursue a career in that, you have to understand the business of that career also.
Correct. SCL बद्दल ॲक्च्युली माझा पुढचा प्रश्न असणार आहे की सोशो इमोशनल लर्निंग म्हणजे काय? आणि आपण मुलांना गिफ्टेड मुलांना आणि आता तुम्ही जसं म्हणताय तसं खरं तर यू आर युझिंग द टर्म गिफ्टेड व्हेरी broadly right now. You're not excluding children even if they are not in the program. That does not mean that they are not gifted in different ways. So how does the socio-emotional aspect and the learning come into play there?
So just now what she spoke about was regarding the child with art and all that can be taken as talent development also. Okay? And so we are developing talents. And talent is developed when you create real, you are creating that sort of an environment and linking the child. The child is practicing a lot.
Right.
Because we have children who are good in mathematics, who will practice maybe 10 times and they will get the right answer. But children with high ability who are gifted, they will just look at the question and they are able to solve that maths problem. So there are two types of ways of looking at gifted and talent. Now, for all this, we look at socio-emotional dimension. Basically, why we look at the socio-emotional dimension is we in our program, that is, it is the Pajakosha model, which Pallavi will talk about also, that we take the child right from the food that the child is eating, from Annamaya Kosha. We go to the food which is cooked, how it is cooked, what are the ingredients used while making the food, and we go to Pranamaya Kosha, that is the energies within the system, which is created because of the food that you eat. Then third is the Manomaya Kosha, that is about your emotions. Like how do you work with your mind? How do you create a balance? Because these children are different. Not all, but some of them. And they need some techniques, like, maybe some very structured elements of practice. Like, for instance, you have meditation, you have mindfulness practices, which we initiate right from beginning and try to make them into balancing their emotions. and that is the Manomaya Kosha. And Vijnanamaya Kosha is more of the knowledge which they get. It's more of taking them into a level of wisdom.
Buddhi.
Yeah. So we take them into that Vijnanamaya Kosha. So there are a lot of reflective questions that we take them through. And here we also take them, according to Bloom's taxonomy, into the analysis, the higher order thinking.
The cognitive process.
That is happens not only knowledge, but the higher order thinking skills which we develop. That happens in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And in the Anandamaya Kosha, we take them through the process of what is my purpose. So that purpose, through our nurturing module, we take them to becoming more conscious of why I was given this ability. That we are only trustees of this ability. And
you have a responsibility, you have a job to do here.
I have a job. And what is that job? It is for society.
Right.
So
Awareness of...
that awareness is, the seed of that awareness is put right from 6th standard in this SEL.
So you're saying that children are aware of all of these Pancha Koshas that you are...
If you allow me to talk about SCL, how we incorporate it into our curriculum. So SCL learning is facilitated by the counselors, okay, who are part of our team. Now, SCL focuses on helping the children become aware of their emotions and feelings. So we take them through a number of sessions through the year, because the theme of our level 1, that is grade 6, is Swaparichaya, is understanding the self. Now, understanding the self is also, talking about feelings, we kind of help them understand, okay, जेव्हा तुला एक particular situation मध्ये तू असतो, तेव्हा राग आला, तर तुला राग कुठं एक्सपिरियन्स होतं? इथं मध्ये होतं, पोटात होतं, डोक्यात होतं. तर एक फिलिंग व्हील, जे फिलिंग्स अँड इमोशन्सची व्हील आम्ही त्यांना इंट्रोड्यूस करतो, ज्याच्यात त्यांना दे गेट द व्होकॅबलरी टू एक्सप्रेस की हे डिफरंट काइंड्स ऑफ फिलिंग्स माझ्यात आहेत. कुठल्या कुठल्या सिच्युएशन्समध्ये मी ते फिलिंग्स डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट करतो आणि बॉडीमध्ये ते कुठं टोचतं, कुठं दिसतं. मला भूक लागली असेल तर इथं फिलिंग येते की एकदम तणतण तणतण होते, का पॅल्पिटेशन होतं, का रागराग होतं, कुठं हे तुला फिजिकली फील होतं. हे एक पार्ट आहे. वी ऑल्सो टेक देम थ्रू ब्युटिफुल प्रोसेस ऑफ मॉरल डायलेमास, की जर का ॲक्सिडेंट तुला दिसला, तुझ्या समोर झाला, तू काय करणार त्या सिच्युएशनमध्ये. सो एक सेल्फ अवेअरनेसचं प्रोसेस आहे की मी हेल्प करणार का मी नुसतं बघत राहणार का मी पळून जाणार. हे ऑफकोर्स नोबडी इज जजिंग तू का पळून गेला.
There's no right. If I'm afraid of blood, it's better that I stay away.
Yes.
Yeah, but so hey, moral dilemmas, आम्ही एका group, we break the children into different, usually they work collaboratively, but this program also gives them the choice to work independently if they wish to. There are children who do not express themselves at all in this group. They like to work with one person or maybe alone, but there are other children who love working in a group. So हे moral dilemma situations आहेत, feeling wheels आहेत, where do you feel the emotion, where do you feel it in your body, हे expression आहे. I'll just give you an example. आम्ही एक beautiful activity SCL मध्ये करतो, there's a reflection in me. So we show them a video where this girl is standing in front of the mirror, and the reflection in the mirror is telling, oh, you are so beautiful. When you smile, the world smiles with you. When you dance, the world is so rhythmic. हे सगळं एक process. So what we did was we kind of just sketched mirrors on the wall, and we made the children stand in front of the mirrors and now talk to your reflection and tell something about yourself to the reflection. आणि त्याच्यात माझ्याकडं एक स्टुडंट होता जो म्हणला की माझा वीकनेस असा आहे कारण मी खूप पटकन मला रडायला येतं आणि हे बोलता बोलता तो रडायला लागला. आणि आय एम टेलिंग यू, ही वॉज सो टेकन अ बॅक की आता हे सिच्युएशन आम्ही कारण आत्ता त्याला शिकवणं की अरे बाबा रडू नको, हे बरोबर नाही आहे रडणं, पण हे त्याला लक्षात येतंय की माझं प्रॉब्लेम आहे. I need to work on that. But somewhere it's important to also tell him it's okay to feel like that.
Yeah.
It's okay how you feel.
It's more important to do that.
That's why it's called swaparichaya.
Yeah.
So
I
that is
wish
important.
I wish I was taught like that in school. I wish we all, like, I was not a gifted child. I was a pretty average child. But I wish all of us could experience this kind of socio-emotional learning.
Even some other children are so confident standing in front of the mirror and they're talking about these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. I know it. I know how to work on my weakness. I know how to enhance my strength. That confidence also we come across. And then there are those little timid ones who know what they're experiencing, but do not have the vocabulary to express it. So, हे फार म्हणजे ॲज टीचर्स अँड फॅसिलिटेटर्स हे इतकं सुंदर प्रोसेस आहे.
Magical.
कारण एक 30 मिनिट पिरियडमध्ये मिळत नाही आम्हाला हे सगळं एक्सपिरियन्स करायला. सो इवन इफ आय एम गेटिंग इट विथ अ व्हेरी स्मॉल ग्रुप ऑफ चिल्ड्रन, बट वेन एव्हर आय गेट अन ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी इन द क्लासरूम वेन आय एम गोइंग फॉर सबस्टिट्यूशन, आय डू pick out these beautiful moments and share it with the other students in the classroom. And if time permits, I also want to give this example. Like yesterday, I was in grade 8 and I have like 4 or 5 gifted students in that with whom I have worked. And then we were talking about, they were sitting boys and girls separate. So I said, like, what is this? It's a co-ed school. So we work, we sit together. So this is Friday, we get an opportunity to sit with our friends. I said, okay. Then Monday to Thursday, do you follow this very diligently that you don't change your places and don't sit with your friends? And this girl, I'm not going to name her, but she stood up and she said, no, ma'am. Because that concept of being fair and just and being honest is so visible that she represented the whole class. I said, no, ma'am. Monday to Thursday, we don't do that.
Other children must have really.
But she is a beautiful child. So I think her friends know how genuine she is. So they won't judge her. And they all accept it. So these are beautiful experiences. Like if I start writing a diary, it's an endless.
Maybe you should, because I mean, we should do another podcast of just the experiences.
There's so many
It's
beautiful.
amazing. So we've been talking about your school and the program and it's amazing. It's really inspiring to hear all of this. But I can't help but wonder that in other schools that probably do not have so many resources, do gifted children not get recognized and hence nurtured? And then, I mean, what is the future that they are looking at? Because they would probably keep hiding their, giftedness.
So here, what is very important is the gifted children need opportunities and they need nurturing. One is identification. Secondly, they need to be nurtured. Thirdly, they need to be guided also. And they need opportunities of expression. So one has to see them. So these are few dimensions for a gifted program. What is very important is, first of all, as India, we need to say that we need this. Why do we need this? Why do we need a gifted program in India is something which is very important. Once we understand that when we give opportunities like this to the children with high ability in India, we are creating sort of innovation. We are moving towards developing products and creative expressions with a direction, set goal. And that is not happening at present because as I was speaking, 65 to 70% of our children are in rural areas.
Correct.
So if we say 75 lakh children are gifted in India,
70% of them are in rural
areas. And in rural areas, imagine how much we are losing.
True.
First of all, even in cities, in urban areas, nobody knows about a gifted program.
Correct.
If you see, Jnana Prabodhini is there, Kaveri Gifted is there, but there aren't very many people who are working in the field of gifted. So very few people are there. So I think we need to open our doors towards this vertical. And only if we, because see what happens is, in India, because of our population, we are still struggling with right to education.
Right.
We are not having all our children in schools. There are schools with only one teacher.
Correct.
How can that one teacher do all this work? No. So I am sure that it will happen. But at least where there are schools with more teachers, I think the concept of giftedness has to immerse into the school system for it to really go ahead.
Right.
And basically, the awareness amongst the teachers is very important.
True.
So only then will there be some sort of a movement.
In that direction.
Because see, for instance, now, children with special needs, Atta, we know that every school without a ramp, infrastructure, without a ramp, we cannot get permission to, school building is not complete.
Correct.
For gifted, we don't have any sort of a framework which says that as a policy, you need XYZ
Correct.
in your school system to run a gifted center. We don't have. So it will take time, but I'm sure that with technology, things will move faster. But we are still to walk a lot of
Right. So, my last question to both of you would be, we have as we discussed, there is a wide spectrum of learning abilities inside of every classroom in the world. Going forward, if with this program and with, inclusive classrooms that we were talking about, how would you like the world to be? What is your dream vision?
Oh, talking about dream vision is a little tough because what we are trying to create is a dream school, a dream experience for the children. But I'm sure all the efforts are not enough. There's so much more to do. For me, first thing that I'd like to talk about, if one has to really envision a dream school, is where teachers have this approach that this is what my student would like to learn today and not this is what I want to teach. If that mindset changes, that this is what they want to learn, let me find out how I can facilitate that and take them through, the whole process of exploring unique ideas, a lot of questioning, inquiry, all those processes, because we have that in our school where, we open the inquiry-oriented program that we have to all the children. But then again, in grade 6, let's say, if we open the inquiry-oriented program to all, but in the higher classes, we say, okay, those who are now interested, enroll for it and have these special pull-out programs again. So we have multiple pull-out programs, not just the gifted program. So where children with different interests, children with different gifts get an opportunity to explore, to learn in an environment which is highly nurturing.
Children get to choose.
Yes, of course, choice is very important. It should be stimulating. It should be interest-based. It should be something where the child, looks forward to learning and not have this parat period aahe, atta jayse. So that when that changes, for the children, where they're given the choice, where their interests are nurtured, where their talents are nurtured, and where the giftedness is acknowledged, is there's nothing called as a dream school or a ideal school, but definitely we would like it. We are like inching towards it. I won't say that we've reached there. Many schools are trying a lot of different things for the children so that different interests, giftedness is taken care of.
Right.
Also, last point, of course, is about the parents and not pushing the children, because even with the small children that we work, and when we ask about how do their parents perceive them, they do say that, they have this kind of a conversation with the child. "Ai, tu gifted as na, mak marks ka nahi aana." So it's very important to use this word in a proper way.
Understand the meaning of the word.
So when we ask them, how do you deal with this? No, some children learn to ignore it. Some children strive very hard to prove a point.
Yeah.
And
Because I mean, a child would get affected. I would get affected if someone said that to me.
so if this pressure of performing for the test or learning for the test is removed from our system, where, any example that you ask a child in the classroom is all connected to with examinations.
Yeah.
If that approach changes, if teachers also kind of say, okay, this we are learning for a test. Because when I go to my class and I teach language, I always tell them, I'm not preparing you for the board exam. I am helping you to develop language skills of learning to read, learning to comprehend, learning to analyze, synthesize, create something on your own. So, but it doesn't go down well with all the children, but some of them really come out feeling that, it was a different way of teaching language. So if we have these kinds of approaches where the teacher, student, and the parents work with a mindset that it's an active learning space, and let's do to make it as relevant, meaningful,
Joyful.
and real life connect.
Yeah.
It's very important that any project, any concept you teach, it must have some real life connect. Otherwise, the children again will just learn the concept in terms of facts and definitions and not go beyond that.
Correct.
And for me, what a dream school is, I would like the technology to be supporting the teachers in areas where can be done, especially in areas like knowledge. And for me, I would look at the dream school being a school of exploration, engagement, and where both the teacher and the student both are learning in a learning space.
Correct.
And both are having fun. And I think creating that sort of an environment in a school space and creating that sort of an intrinsic motivation to be wanting to learn. Whether I'm a gifted child or I am not a gifted child.
Right.
I'm saying for all children.
For all children and teachers.
Correct. For all. For the teacher and open to learning. Because even if we want to introduce something, and when I ask for, give me a list of teachers' names, principals are unable to give me.
Yeah.
Because they already know who are the teachers who are open to learning. And a handful of, correct. When you have a handful of teachers, then imagine what you are feeding your children.
True.
Because if I'm not a role model to be open to learning, why will a child want to learn?
Correct.
So for me, a dream school would be how I can use technology is one vertical. And by using technology, supporting the teacher in all the mundane things that she's doing or he's doing.
Right.
And I look at even being able to create more dream schools across India.
So create a learning hub
Yes.
for everyone.
Yes.
So focus should be on developing these skills of learning to know, learning to develop skills,
Learning
skill
to
sets,
learn.
learning to learn, learning to understand, and learning to build attitudes. Because they are future citizens of India, and if we don't build attitudes towards, first of all, their learning, second, their responsibility as a citizen, and not just of their country, but the world citizen. So these three skills of knowledge, what do you say? The pillars is knowledge, skills, and attitudes. If we are able to develop,
That
would be
makes a competency.
Yeah.
Right.
And lastly, I think we have to emphasize on citizenship.
Yeah.
And we have started a program, Citizenship Development Training for Parents.
Okay.
We are starting with parents. How do you do?
For the primary school.
Yeah. So for the primary school, we've started. So we feel that if we are able to have a structured citizenship program up till the primary level, then we would have better citizens for the country.
Definitely. Thank you so much. This was definitely a very interesting and enlightening conversation. And I hope to sit again and talk more about this. I'm sure our viewers would also like that. तुम्हाला हा व्हिडिओ आवडला असेल तर जरूर लाईक करा, चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करा आणि तुम्हाला काय वाटतं ह्या सगळ्या कॉन्व्हर्सेशनबद्दल ते नक्की आम्हाला कॉमेंटमध्ये लिहून कळवा. धन्यवाद.